Well, hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. I'll tell you what, RFK Jr. is making waves. I hope and pray that this guy gets confirmed because he will upend the Washington establishment, Big Pharma, the food manufacturers. I mean, like, think about it. They didn't just put him in charge of FDA or NIH. They put him in charge of the whole kit and caboodle, the whole shebang, man. Health and Human Services. And what RFK Jr. has to say, Robert F. Kennedy, of course, I'm talking about, is really eye-opening to people that don't understand what's going on with our food supply, with Big Pharma, how they're stacking the deck against us. But my quest today from this podcast is to show you a way that you can take back your life, that you can insulate yourself from the war that's being waged on your body from Big Pharma and the food manufacturers and how they're stacking the deck against you. And show you an easy, simple way, backed by science, by the way, to literally take your life back. A mind, body, soul program. Of course, I'm talking about Energized Health. For me, it has transformed, I would say, my body. In just a few weeks, I lost 15 pounds. I have kept that 15 pounds off. I'm now many months past that, and my life has been transformed. This wasn't some fad diet or some fad workout scheme. This is me changing my life, and it's working for me, and I still feel the results. And that's the most important thing. I feel the results, and I think people out there, when they look at me, they see the results. So I got it coming from all directions. I'm real happy about this. So I want to talk to the founder of EnergizedHealth.com. His name is John Jubilee. He's been on the program before. Talk about RFK Jr. a little bit. Don't forget the website, EnergizedHealth.com/Grant, if you want to learn about inner cellular hydration. We'll get into that in just a moment. But first, let me bring in John. John, welcome to the program.
Hey, Grant. Great to be here. And Grant, you made my day when you said you feel great. Because, Grant, that's the bottom line for everybody and that was my story, Grant, 27 years ago, by the way, was I couldn't care less, Grant, what I looked like, but I just wanted to feel better, man. I just wanted to feel better.
Well, look, isn't it a huge benefit, though, when you look and feel better? I mean, this is the total package.
Hey, well, you know what? Usually side effects are a bad thing, right? But I will say it's a bonus when you can have some side effects that are actually a good thing. So at Energized Health, we tell people, we say, look, the great news is you're going to feel better. The side effects is you are going to look better. You are going to look better. And your energy is going to be through the roof. So those are great side effects.
So many people get frustrated because, well, now we have these weight loss medications, which are absolutely horrific. They eat your muscle alive. You eat your muscle out. That's not going to last for you very, very long. And not to mention some of the side effects that are associated with them. I'm not a fan of these weight loss drugs, Ozempic, the others. Are you, John?
No, absolutely not. All of those drugs, Grant, are in the exact same classification, and it is scientifically proven that they literally eat lean muscle mass. They literally push healthy hydration out of your body. They increase your visceral fat. They scientifically documented increase your visceral fat. But because muscle and hydration weighs more than the visceral fat you're gaining, your weight still goes down on the scale, but you are literally becoming something you don't want to be. You're becoming a smaller version and a fatter version, of yourself. It's very unhealthy. And you could paralyze your digestive system and you could destroy your digestive system for the rest of your life, by the way.
I'm going to tell you the last thing I want to do is be a smaller, fatter version of myself. That sounds absolutely horrible. But this is, I was going through your website and I've talked to you a bunch of times. You had made a point of pointing out the difference between fat loss and weight loss. Could you explain that to me?
Yeah. And really, at Energized Health, we actually give people a guarantee, Grant, and obviously this was your experience, as you gain lean muscle, you gain healthy hydration. So this is what we call transformation, but you lose your visceral fat and you lose your subcutaneous fat. So even though, yes, you may weigh less, you actually in an inordinate amount of transformation. So I love this. One of my ladies, Grant, came up with this term. This is the best way to explain loss, instead of weight loss, it's fat loss. So she said this to me. She said, John, I'm the smallest size I've ever been, but I'm not the lightest weight I've ever been. Let me say that again for everybody. So a woman who was a 20-year dieter, she said, I'm the smallest size I've ever been, but I'm 15 pounds heavier on the scale than the lightest weight I've ever been, because now I have the revelation. I have the transformation revelation because I gained lean muscle. I gained healthy hydration of about 15 pounds of healthy weight gain, but my inches went way down smaller than I've ever been before because I gained what I should gain, but I lost all my visceral and subcutaneous fat. That's the difference between fat loss and weight loss.
Yeah, and that's the kind of loss you want there because it's the healthiest way to do it. I mentioned RFK Jr. at the top of the program. The guy's making waves everywhere. I mean, if you don't love him, you hate him. I don't know if there's anybody really in between on this guy, but I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of RFK Jr. like this, John. I look at him like I look at Rand Paul and Ron Paul, who I'm big fans of on certain things. I say their good ideas are really good and their bad ideas are really bad. On RFK Jr., him and the environment and some of the stuff on fossil fuels, we're not going to see eye to eye on. But on free speech and health, man, I'll tell you what, the guy is right there with me. So as I've said to President Trump, just keep him away from the energy department. Let him focus on health and human services and we'll be fine.
No, and I totally agree with you there, Grant. And, he really is on to something, when it comes to the poisoning of the food and the poisoning where farmers are having to spray the things that they spray onto our food. So it starts all the way with the farmers, doing this crazy crop dusting with these horrific pesticides that they put on, and then the manufacturers. I just saw one the other day, Grant, which was just something as simple as ketchup. But they showed, here's what ketchup looks like in Europe. It's about 5 ingredients. And then in America, it's like 15 ingredients. And of course, all of our stuff is the poisonous high fructose corn syrup and, all the additives that get thrown in there. And so, of course, it just makes it 10 times harder for us as Americans. It's like we're the only country in the world that says, yes, we will legalize poisoning our citizens. Europe actually cares about their people and they won't let them poison their citizens like Americans. The American government allows us to be poisoned.
To me, here's my biggest fear is that this is all by design. That, yes, I understand that by using the pesticides and the chemicals, it makes it cheaper to produce stuff. And that's an easy benefit for the manufacturers. But sometimes I feel like everybody's in cahoots. So you get all Americans addicted to sugar and a cheap way of making the food. So then they keep eating more junk food. They get fatter. Well, then guess what? The medical system in America benefits off a bunch of fat people running around because they're in the hospital with heart attacks and high cholesterol. And then, guess what? Big Pharma to the rescue with their cholesterol medications and now these weight loss drugs. And it seems to me like a big giant money train for these people that the fatter Americans get, the more money everybody makes.
Yeah, well, Grant, if you'd have talked to me 20 years ago, I would have said, Grant, you're a conspiracy theorist. Nobody would ever do that. And, I truly was naive. I truly did not believe there's any way in the, the red, white, and blue, the USA, the home of the brave, the land of the free, that we would ever allow such a thing. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, listen, I will just tell everybody, I'm the first one. I was wrong. It absolutely, all you have to do is follow the money. All you have to do is follow the money, and you realize there is absolutely a giant conspiracy against American citizens. And it really is as simple as what you just said. It's let's poison the food supply because everybody has to eat. So let's poison the food supply. They have to eat. So there's no one that's going to be able to get away from it, or 99% can't get away from it. Yeah. So people eat the poison, they get sick, but not sick enough to die. just sick enough to be sick, because dead people can't pay bills, but unhealthy people can pay bills. So it's just enough poison to make us unhealthy. And then we become a patient of the medical system, and they drain us, for basically our whole life expectancy, which has dropped by about 6 years, by the way. Life expectancy in America, we're like number 49th in the world.
Crazy.
Of life expectancy. So our life expectancy is dropping. So they're losing some clients, for that last decade now, because they're poisoning us a little bit too much. But it is a giant conspiracy, and all you have to do is follow the money to realize, hey, it is a real thing, and we have to be proactive to come against it.
All right, and that's what Energized Health is all about. And I want people to go to the website. It's on the screen there, energizedhealth.com/Grant, energizedhealth.com/Grant, to literally fight back against all that, give you an entire roadmap to how you retake your life back, get healthy, and not have to worry about what we're talking about here, energizedhealth.com. All right, I promise you, RFK Jr., let me play a clip from him because he's backing up what you're saying, John. Here, watch this.
Today, I want to talk about the biggest myth of the national obesity epidemic. The biggest myth is that if you're obese or overweight, it's your fault. Today, 3/4 of American adults are obese or overweight, including 40% of American teenagers. Back when I was growing up, childhood obesity was almost unheard of. But you don't need statistics to know that something has changed. Look at the photographs of beaches or state fairs from the 1950s. Something has changed, and it isn't human nature. We haven't suddenly become lazy or gluttonous. What has changed is our food system, our diets, and the hormone-disrupting chemicals in our food, in our water, and our soil. We are being mass poisoned. Today, they tell you that you have obesity, like it was some kind of contagious disease. They treat it as if your body malfunctioned, and they give you a shot to control it. Or they make it about your lack of self-control. Well, that's an insult to anyone who has tried and struggled to lose weight. So what are they ignoring when they make it all about you and your body and your willpower and your character? And the solution is always a shot or a pill that somebody is going to cash in on. What they're ignoring is a food supply that's loaded with high fructose corn syrup and seed oils and hundreds of artificial additives and flavors and processed carbohydrates that don't exist in nature.
All right, I'm going to get back to him in a second. So he said a few things there. This is where I agree with him on the majority of everything he said there. Look, I think it's certainly true, John, and you can comment about how our food supply has changed over the years from when you and I were kids compared to what it is today. But like a true Democrat, and let's be frank, this guy was a Democrat before, he's taken away individual responsibility as well. I get that our food is poisoned, but you still have to be smart about things. And in many respects, it is people's fault. I'm not going to take all the blame away from individuals, John.
No, 100%. You know what? It's great marketing, right? So you could go click and, if you're scrolling through on Instagram or Facebook, that line is used in marketing. That's just a slick, New York City marketing firm line. It's not your fault. So can I just lovingly say to all of our viewers here today, you know what, guys, that feels good. It feels good, right? If someone says, it's not your fault, it's not your fault. That feels good, but is it really true? Is it really true? There's a scripture in the Bible, Grant, that says, faithful are the wounds of a friend, deceitful are the kisses of an enemy. So when someone looks at you and says, it's not your fault, can I just give you a possibility? Maybe that's a deceitful kiss of an enemy. Yeah. Because look, let's raise our hand. Let's be responsible. We can choose what we put in our mouth, and we can also choose how to counteract. Some things, guess what, guys? I have ketchup in my house, and in my ketchup, there's high fructose corn syrup and the bad additives. But guess what? I don't worry about it. You know why? Because I have intracellular hydration. Yeah. So I took an action step. So I know my body is like a river. And look, just to give you a word picture, if you throw an old coffee cup in the river, or you throw an empty soda bottle in the river, what happens? The river just washes it away. So the good news is we can still take action steps, just like tens of thousands of people have done at Energized Health, is they took an action step to say, okay, so I can't get rid of all the poisons. I can't get rid of all the high fructose corn syrup because they stick it in everything, guys.
Yeah.
They stick it in stuff we never dreamed that they could even put it in. It's like, how can, a potato chip, when I was a little boy, a potato chip was potatoes, vegetable oil, and salt. It had 3 ingredients in it. Now a potato chip has 12 ingredients in it. They put sugar in potato chips, Grant.
Amazing.
Did you know that?
Yeah. No,
I challenge anyone, go to the grocery store, pick up a bag of chips, especially like your favorite barbecue chip. There is sugar in there because they know sugar is an addictive substance. They even put it in potato chips now. But the good news is, guys, we really can take responsibility for our own life. We can still, even if nothing ever changed, we can make in 27 years, by the way, I want to give people some good news, Grant. Listen, in 27 years, I've not been sick for one day.
It's amazing.
Not one medical doctor visit, not one day of sickness. I've been in the same shape and size for 27 years. So you really can do it. And guess what, guys? I've raised a lot of kids. I still have 3 twin 10-year-olds and a 13-year-old left at home, 5 up and out. Guess what? Kids eat everything. Kids eat everything. And you really can, even in this, raise your hand and say, I will be responsible. I will be responsible. I can still choose what goes in my mouth. I can still choose how to be healthy and offset. You could swim upstream. You can.
Well, that's where individual responsibility comes in, because you got to do something. And if you go to energizedhealth.com/Grant, that's where you start the process of doing something. But you got to start. You got to say, okay, today's the day I'm going to start. And you know what I did with you? I didn't even say today's the day I'm going to start. You and I talked, and then I talked to one of the coaches at Energized Health, and I said, you know what? I'm going to mentally prepare myself. Not that it was really that hard that I needed to do that, but and we said, I'm going to start next Monday. And then I got everything in order. I got all the foods that I was going to start to collect, what I was going to eat over, and I got my plan in place and everything I was going to do, and really, folks, I'm making it even more complicated than it really is. It's not that complicated. And I started on that Monday. And then 88 days, and I feel like, from what you're telling me, from what I'm experiencing, I've built a body armor. Maybe I've taken a secret potion that now just repels illness and these bad things from my body, and I'm protecting my body. I've got the shield after this just 88 days, which was as easy as could be, by the way, and I'm better for it.
No, 100%. And again, I just want to, I want to give people the good news, because there is so much bad news. And look, if all of that was true, if it's not our fault and we're all just being poisoned, doesn't that make us feel hopeless? That's a hopeless feeling. But again, I just want to reiterate to people, you know what? I eat potato chips, even the ones with the sugar in them, by the way. But guess what? I don't eat the whole bag.
Right.
I just eat a handful.
That's where RFK Jr. would tell you, it's not your fault you ate the whole bag. Yes, it is. Put the Twinkies down. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So look, so the good news is, guys, no matter how many times you failed in the past, which, look, I failed for 10 years, Grant. I raised my hand. I failed for 10 years trying all the crazy stuff people give us to try. And that's why I made this so simple, so scientific, so sustainable, that anybody could follow it and actually do it for their whole life. Because, guys, at the end of the day, can anyone just say out loud, moderation? God gave you taste buds because food tastes good. So I would never tell someone, don't eat dessert, don't eat ice cream, don't eat cake. Absolutely not. Eat it, but just don't eat the whole cake. Don't eat the whole pie. Eat a piece of pie.
John? And you probably already know this, what the Energized Health program did. I would assume you do. But your program trained me in moderation, and I didn't even realize it until after. Because the way the number of meals are set up, the number of calories that were set up, I was never hungry along the way. I never was like, you get on these diets and you go hungry and you're dying for... Never once was I hungry along the way, but I trained myself moderation. Holy cow, I can eat a meal that's only 350 calories. I don't need 800 calories in my meal right now. I had no idea of that until, and by the way, you can vouch for me. I was in pretty good shape before I even started
Heck
this.
yeah.
Right?
Grant.
So
you were absolutely in good shape. You were in good shape. Now you're just in great shape.
Exactly. You know, the other thing too on this victim thing, it made me think you can still be a victim, but you can also do something to make yourself not be a victim. So the left will often say it's victim shaming. Okay. Let me give an example of this. You can be a victim of a bad food supply in America and all the sugar, and then they're victimizing us. No doubt about it. You can also do something about it. For Thanksgiving, we went to the Caribbean on vacation, my girlfriend and I and the kids. And she says, hey, I want to take my nice rings and jewelry. I said, you know what? I don't think you should take the nice rings and jewelry. I think we're going to a place, I don't know what it's like there. Don't take it. Why? Because I wanted to prevent myself from becoming a victim. Now, it doesn't take away from the fact that it's wrong that a thief would steal the ring off my girlfriend's finger. That is 100% wrong. She shouldn't be blamed for that. But the reality is we prevented ourselves from becoming a victim because we took precautions on the front end. And this is the same thing what Energized Health is doing, I think.
No, you're 100% right. Yeah, listen, when you turn your body into a river of living water, you know, again, I'm just going to quote a scripture here. You know, Jesus said you'll be like a tree planted by a river of living water. So many of our scientific principles are also biblically based principles, Grant. And I can't overstress this for people is, look, if you throw some poison in the water in a river, guess what? And by the way, they dump toxins and poison in rivers all the time. And you know what the river does? It self-cleans. It's a self-cleansing organism. It's a self-cleansing machine. And you can turn your body into a detoxifying, self-cleansing machine by just getting your hydration at the level it needs to be.
Your example of a glass of water, you pour ketchup in it, you run it under the sink. What happens when you keep running water through it? The ketchup all leaves and you got basically a clean glass of water. That's what happens with your body with the Energized Health System, intercellular hydration. You just constantly flushing the system out. All right, let me play you some more of RFK of RFK Jr. This is him talking about the insurance companies and much of what we've been talking about, of changing your way of life and fixing all the problems to prevent you getting sick by eating healthy and all of these things. And by the way, on the insurance companies, if they force the insurance companies to pay for that, don't think that all of a sudden everybody's getting free Ozempic. What happens is you and me who aren't using Ozempic are now paying for that in our insurance costs. All right, they don't just pay it to you like a gift. The insurance companies would go out of business. They end up raising the money from everybody else and they spread it across everybody, and the healthy people are now paying for the sick people.
Yeah, that's exactly how that whole system works. And Grant, I'll give you a really exciting thought here. And this is something that, by the way, we're really hoping, to have a meeting very soon with RFK, our Energized Health team, because we've been making America healthy again for 27 years. We've already been on the front lines of this. Just nobody knew there was a war. They didn't realize that war was going on. We've been fighting this war behind the scenes for 27 years to make America healthy again. And tens of thousands of people have reversed their diabetes. They reversed their high blood pressure. They reversed their obesity. Yes, all natural with one thing. It wasn't Ozempic. It was no drug. It was no magic supplement. It was intracellular hydration. They actually did it a totally healthy, natural way. And just when he said that, boy, my light bulb just went off, Grant. Like, why wouldn't the U.S. government, if they're going to pay for that, for Ozempic, they should be paying for Energized Health for every American so they can get healthy at the cellular level in a natural way. And what would that do to the insurance company if everyone could raise their hand and say what I can say, 27 years, not one medical doctor visit? What would that do to the insurance industry, and how much tax dollars could we save if that was the case?
I never asked you about Energized Health. I always think about muscle and visceral fat and the ugly fat around my organs and all that stuff. Does it help with your joints?
Oh, Grant, my number one issue was bone on bone in both of my knees. Bone on bone in both of my knees. Grant, at 37 years old, I was told I was going to need 2 new knee replacements because they say you cannot regrow cartilage. And anybody out there, raise your hand if you have some joint pain, shoulder, neck, back, knees, elbows. If you've got it, raise it. Because let me tell you something, Grant, it is one of the most painful things you can imagine is joint pain. And when you're bone on bone in your knees, every step you take, Grant, feels like someone is taking a knitting needle and stabbing you in the knee. Like that's literally what it feels like when you don't have cartilage. And you could hear me. If I walked into your studio, you would hear crunch, crunch, crunch. Sounds like someone smashing Rice Krispies, snap, crackle, and popping. You could hear me walk into a room, Grant. People used to, to say, oh, here comes Mr. Rice Krispies, because I would snap, crackle, and pop when I walked into a room. So the great news is I can look every single person right in the eye and tell you, you 100% can alleviate all your joint pain. I will literally 100% guarantee in writing, you absolutely will alleviate your joint pain. And don't even have to take my word for it. I'm sure you do. I know you trust me because you love and trust Grant. But you can go look on the Better Business Bureau, thousands of reviews, Trustpilot, Google, Facebook reviews. Go look at all those and you'll see thousands and tens of thousands of people that reversed all their joint pain, that regrew their cartilage in their knees, in their hips, in their elbows, in their neck. Absolutely, Grant, they can reverse all their joint pain.
Well, it's amazing. I can tell you, for everybody watching, I trust you. And the reason I trust you is not just because I know you and have so much respect for you, but also because I've been through the program and it works. Literally, I'm living proof of it. The 15 pounds that I dropped is still off, and I'm done with the program, and I'm not struggling to keep it off. I'm literally living my life, in the way that I want to live it, and I'm doing great with it. So I would urge everybody out there to go to energizedhealth.com. The website's right under John's name there, energizedhealth.com/Grant. Find out, learn about intercellular hydration. There's a master class on there too that you can watch. Scroll down on the page. You watch the master class. It's pretty good stuff to see what this is about. And then if you really want to take back your life, whether I say, John, to people all the time, and I know you've had people that have lost like 600 pounds on Energized Health, but I say whether you want to lose 200 pounds or you whether want to lose like me 15 pounds and tighten it up, this is about taking your life back on a full mind, body, soul journey that is backed by scientists and has a full guarantee of John Jubilee and the Energized Health team. Am I right, John?
100%. Yep, 100%. Grant, I wouldn't take, unlike the healthcare industry that loves to take and suck all your money out of you for your whole life, I wouldn't take one penny from anyone unless I can change their life. And that's why for 27 years at Energized Health, we have a 100% money back guarantee. We either change your life and do everything we promised you, or we'll just refund your money in 10 minutes. It's that simple. Well, we change people's lives.
It worked for me, and I'm grateful to you, John Jubilee, as always. I appreciate you coming on today on a Saturday afternoon. It's fun to do a podcast with you, as always. And I'm sure we will see you again very, very soon, John.
All right, Grant. Love you, brother. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Right back at you, brother. Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you, my friend. All right, folks, listen to me. Here's the website. energizedhealth.com/Grant. Again, it is about the cellular hydration. To learn more about that, go on the website. There's a lot of resources there. But literally, this program, there is so much help for you, okay? And I mean this because I went through it. There's individual coaching. There's weekly Zoom call meetings. There's the daily videos that you can watch. There's your guide and your program, and you got a coach, and you have all of these things put together. There's recipes even for the foods. You can't not be successful on this. I mean, they set it up so easy for you to succeed that if you're at the point and you've watched, sometimes you watch those infomercials, you watch the weight loss drugs, you say, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. Finally, why don't you just do it right now? Take the step, go on the website and sign up, and then take your life back. And I promise you, in 88 days from now, you're going to say, Grant, you were right. Thank God I saw that podcast. Anyway, You know I love all of you folks. Stinchfield's Army rolls. You're the best. EnergizedHealth.com/Grant. Don't forget my website, GrantStinchfield.com, GrantStinchfield.com. Sign up for the email list there as well. And we'll see you on Monday on the Real America's Voice show. We'll see you then. Take it easy, folks. John. Oh.
You're a rock star.